Hey, Gen Geek fam. It is I, the OG, Doc Solo of Generation Geek. And man, do we have a show for you. On this episode of Comic Shop Talk, we are joined by the incredible super YouTuber, Super Sly 75. Stops by for comics and a conversation as we talk The Acolyte, art theft at the highest levels from none other than Marvel Comics, as well as the tragic events surrounding the unfortunate loss of Sonya Massey here in our home state of Illinois, and much, much more. We share our insights, our opinions, and some commentary. You never know what's going down at the comic shop unless you join us on this episode of Comic Shop Talk. Check it out. We are live. We are live. We got Tommy and we got Sly.
Tommy and Sly. Two debuts all in one day.
I know, right? I feel special today. It feels special today.
It's coming together.
Yeah. Comic Book Wednesday. Anything interesting come out today? That I'd be interesting.
Week. NYX is the big one. Epitaphs from the Abyss. The return of EC Comics.
Okay.
Turtles. Turtles number
one.
Oh,
Turtles number one.
Yes.
Of course, it's Deadpool week.
Oh, well, I'm thinking about it.
Deadpool
week.
Yeah. So.
Oh, he's gonna
be Deadpool on Friday.
Yeah, that's right, man. July 26th.
July 26th. So.
They've been hyping it up, so hopefully it's good.
Did you already get your tickets?
No.
I mean, they spoiled it everywhere.
I
turned off all
can't even
my
watch
stuff.
it. Can't even watch
I
YouTube.
turned off everything. Like, don't spoil it.
Nah, I think we got tickets for like the matinee on Friday, like at 11.
Yeah.
So it comes out Thursday night, Monday, Friday morning, whatever. So we'll be seeing it by the morning. So we will be ducking and dodging everything that we can. You got to, because it's just gonna be spoilers. Every thumbnail, every all I can assume is YouTube. Like I don't watch TV, so like YouTube is my TV. So I'll be ducking YouTube. Start tomorrow night. Start tomorrow afternoon.
You could be on a video about anything.
Yep.
Scroll through the comments.
What?
Oh man, Deadpool died.
Oh,
come on, man.
Oh, here we go. We got Hulk. We got a Hulk appearance. Like, bro, what is going on, bro? Like, oh, is Wolverine versus Hulk next? I'm like, bro, so. No, we'll be ducking and dodging that.
But no, there's a lot of buzz in here for that. I get people all different kind of walks of life. They walk in. Oh man, you ready for this Deadpool? I go, yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with Wolverine though. And I say, yeah. I'll say this though. Hugh Jackman's been Wolverine since '98. This will be the first time we see him in the actual comic book Wolverine outfit.
Yeah. Has it been '98? Has it been that long?
Man.
When the first X-Men came out?
I think, was it '98?
Was it 2000?
Or is that Blade?
What?
Blade was '98. Blade was
98.
What was
Okay, so X-Men is 2000.
It's got to be 2000.
Oh, when the X-Men came out? Oh yeah, it was 2000. It was 2000 something.
2000.
Y'all in the comments let us know. Y'all know. Y'all be on top of it.
Somebody knows.
They be
It
on
was
the slide.
Exactly 2000.
They be on the slide.
It's exactly 2000.
They be on
it. But Bryan Singer, yep.
They be on the
it had
slide.
the leather outfits. It had to be. So here we
What's
go.
that putting us? 24 years? First time in the suit?
24 years.
Crazy.
So we got Super Sly.
Super Sly.
75?
Yeah.
Super Sly 75.
Check him out on YouTube.
YouTuber extraordinaire. In the house, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today, man.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you all aren't following him, you need to be.
Absolutely.
Because the brother covers a wide range of topics, which is how we got in his crosshairs.
Yeah, that's how we got there.
Yeah, man. But you do it, man. I mean, your stuff is on point, man. Your stuff is on point. And then when you had us on, I do my research first, and I'm like, okay, for those who don't know you, tell them about your channel, how you get down.
Former A&R from Universal and Priority Records.
Mm.
Oh God, ghostwriter, producer, and I got burned out on the business because it's the business. I've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, and the YouTube was just like catharsis. That was it. I had some stories to tell.
Yeah.
Let me tell my little stories and share with the people, and then it just kind of went left.
Dave!
In a direction I wasn't prepared for. So here we are, 7-8 years later after the fact. Yeah, and I still get records sent to me. Hey, they want to bring me back in for certain projects. Like I always try to like lead the business.
Right.
And they always like
pull me back in.
Every time. You like money, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, money helps.
Yeah. So
I have use for it.
yeah.
It's a useful thing.
I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But yeah, this YouTube thing, man. It's just I met so many people, and the conversation that we're allowed to have, and people's different point of views and thoughts. It's fascinating to me. So yeah.
Dude, love it, man. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We just had tacos, so we are good to go. We just had tacos at Melly's across the street. At Melly's. So as I was telling the guys earlier, you are comics adjacent, and I really want to get your input because most of us, we're entrenched here.
Mm-hmm.
But as somebody entering into this space with some marked level of intention fairly recently, what's the landscape looking like to you? What's how are you seeing things?
First off, this is your first time in a comic book store?
It's in a while. It's in a while. I don't count the ones in the mall. That's
right.
I mean, like actually, like this has been a long time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so outside looking in, it looked kind of chaotic because of the conversation that was being taken place at the time.
You said on YouTube, just looking chaotic.
And I was like, oh hell, this is how. It reminded me of the music business. I'm like, well, why would I want to jump back into this and these egos and people's business models? If you don't agree with it, God forbid, and people have their cults as we all do.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let me step back and do some digging and see who's what and what, and just find who aligns with what.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I disagree with the politics being ingratiated into the comics, the fact that he did what he did is commendable.
You talking about Eric July?
Yeah.
Eric July.
And,
Catch me up here.
Yeah.
I'm David.
This is David. This is Sly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I respect the business model, but once you insert in politics, you kind of lost me there. You're gonna lose a lot of people. And right now, the climate, it's a hot bucket issue. I guess it's the cool thing to get people riled up. I'm just like, no, because once that dies down, then the product has to speak for itself.
Yep.
And that's where you get in trouble at.
Yeah.
I think, talking on that, inserting politics, it's going to happen. It happens in every media, and it's not the first time they did it. I mean, Neil Adams did it back with Green Arrow and Green Lantern back in the day, with the drug epidemic and racism.
And you help the green people, the purple people. When you can help the black people, black skins,
So that's always going to happen. But when it's just like the way they're inserting politics and viewpoints now is very different than how it was with that exact comic, for example. Like, it was there, it was something that the characters had to deal with, but it made it to where it pointed a light at it so that people were aware that it is an issue, it is a problem, not trying to pull along or toe the line or force people to share that opinion.
I'm with you.
And I think that's where it differs then versus now in the comic books. And that's that's what's driving people even further apart, or it's splitting it even farther.
But I want to hear, like, with somebody coming in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
You're
mind.
just getting back into comics,
Yeah.
or getting into comics altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't want to hear from the creator. I don't want the creator politics.
Yeah.
Write it into the story. Make it a good
See,
story.
and I think that's
then
what
I'm
they're
hooked
doing.
in.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, let's take Star Wars. I hate to say it, but God, like,
Acolyte.
Please do.
like,
He likes Acolyte. You still can't
I
figure
didn't
that
think it
one
was a
out.
bad show. I don't care about
I
Darth
enjoyed
Plagueis
it.
if he didn't create the midi-chlorians. I don't care. The lore is not. I don't live and die by the lore.
Right.
So when I see everybody crashing out over it, I'm like, they're not going to stop, right? You're just validating what they did, right? You guys are doing more promotions for them. They don't have to. They can reduce the marketing budget because you guys are going to go out and complain and cry about it. It wasn't that bad. They're not going to course correct. Doesn't matter how much money they've lost. If that was the case, we'd have done it a few years ago. I just think when you become too emotionally invested in it, and to someone outside looking in, I'm like, y'all look crazy.
The
You guys,
gatekeeping. You're not playing with my toys.
yeah.
You're playing with my toys, right?
It's
That's
always-
what it
it's
is.
always
Yeah.
Right.
It's not how you do it.
Yeah.
It's not how
That's
you
like
tell
getting
it.
mad when they deviate from the source material into the movie. Well, you can't hold them
Yeah,
to
for
the
sure.
heart. You got to give them some room to play with.
Right.
It's tough.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah.
It's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the right.
I think that it's. Can you step forward a little bit so they can see you lay it? I think that it's a delicate balance. It's a tight wire act, right? Of letting the creators create, but I think there has to be some level of oversight at the top
Yeah.
to make sure things stay knitted together and don't unravel.
Yeah, well, we all
You
have
dig it?
well, there is
Yeah.
like there are hard realities and hard truths with even within a fictional thing. Okay, where does Superman come from? You cannot change his planets.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
I don't care how much creative right and
Right.
capability you
Not
have.
Martian
You have.
Manhunter.
Right.
All right?
He's from
Does
Mars.
not work. Don't touch it.
From Mars.
Exactly. This
Yeah,
is
what you
like
mean?
you
He's
know
from
this,
Oa.
right?
He's
Right.
Why is
from Oa?
Bruce Wayne Batman?
Yeah.
Because his parents got
Parents,
killed in an
yeah.
alleyway in a botched robbery / assassination
Right.
attempt.
Certain things are sacrosanct.
You can't touch them.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't touch them.
Right. And I think that's a big issue a lot of people are having with the Acolyte because I haven't seen it yet personally.
Okay.
Just because I'm Star Wars'd out.
Right.
Just Disney keeps just
Same.
throwing
Yeah.
trash
I
at the
couldn't
wall
finish
and
The
seeing what
Mandalorian.
sticks.
And see, I'm not a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
which is why I think that because I'm a creator,
Mm-hmm.
and I review stuff, and for me, it's all about craftsmanship. Like there's certain marks of execution in any creative craft that have to be reached,
Yeah.
right? They have to be as far as storytelling beats, consistency, plot,
Yeah.
acting, dialogue.
Well, what I
The
can-
2 episodes I saw at Acolyte were bereft of those, and I'm not. I have no vested interest in canon.
Yeah.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. It was just. This is just a bad watch.
Well, from
I
what
don't.
I've seen
You
what I've
get what I'm
seen of the
saying?
trailer, I will say that the special effects on that look on Star Wars Acolyte look a lot better than they did for She-Hulk.
Oh,
Like,
no question.
you know,
No
'cause
question.
I'm sorry, She-Hulk's special effects.
Yeah. No question.
They-
What are your
they
thoughts,
were
Tommy?
something.
What are you thinking?
No, if we're talking about Acolyte.
Have you seen it yet?
So I've seen the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
All right, so
I didn't get past 2. Good. Congratulations.
if I was up to 4, I wouldn't be here. But, jokes aside, when we're talking about Star Wars, we're talking about like two or three different things, depending on how old you are.
Mhm.
So let's say somebody from the original trilogy says they're a Star Wars fan.
Right.
What they really mean is they like those first 3 movies from when they were a kid.
That would be me.
Me too.
Yeah.
But that's why I say I'm not a fan, because I didn't follow after that.
Exactly.
Right? So I won't say I'm a fan. But the first 3 movies, I was a kid. Yep.
I hear you. So before I go any further, I do want to say there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
So fast forward, 2001 hits, or 2000. They do Phantom Menace.
That's me. Yeah.
Darth Maul. I was like, oh.
That's the millennial generation.
Right,
Star
right,
Wars,
right,
for sure,
right.
Yeah.
All right, so 2001 hits. Phantom Menace comes out, changes the world for better or worse.
Right.
20 more years pass. Nostalgia kicks in. There's a whole bunch of people that see those 3 movies, the prequel movies, which are Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, with those rose-colored glasses now.
Okay.
Attack of the Clones is a hard watch, but the end makes up for the rest of
Yeah.
that.
That's
Okay.
true.
True.
Yeah, I'll
Very
give you that
hard
one.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
very
I'm
hard
sorry,
watch.
Yoda flipping around kicking everybody's
Yeah.
ass was probably the
Yeah,
best
the
thing in
best
that
part,
trilogy.
yeah.
Let's be real.
So there's a lot of love for those movies now that didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah.
I would look at how Hayden
Amongst
Christensen
the
is treated
world,
today
yeah.
as opposed to
Fans,
Hayden
but-
Christensen is treated back then.
Well,
Right.
see, and to your point there, I think that the hate that those 3 got back then was it was your it was your generation, the kids
Yep.
that grew up watching the original 3.
Yep.
They hated the newer 3
Yeah.
because they changed it, they altered things, they because now if you watch episode 1, 2, and 3, that whole I am your father is meaningless. Like we all know that.
Yeah, we
Right.
know that.
That's just
We
common
don't know where
knowledge
Darth
that Vader
Vader
is
came
Luke's
from.
father.
And that
By
was
the way,
epic
spoiler
line.
alert.
Right.
Vader's Luke's father.
Right.
And that's the generational rift. And nowadays, the kids, me and him that watched, and you that watched episode 1, 2, and 3, we're starting to introduce our children to Star Wars and everything like that. So we have that love that you guys have for the original 3.
Mm-hmm.
I can only say I hope that our children have better taste in movies here in 20, 30 years when episode 7, 8, and 9 are 20, 30 years. Because they're just not good.
Well, Ray
just not good at all. Well, I think you were...
Oh, I was getting to a point.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, so-
I was agreeing with you,
Yeah.
but I wanted to
Okay.
offer reason.
So fast forward to today, we're getting the stuff that we're getting.
Yeah.
Nah, some of it's good, some of it's bad, depending on what part of the Star Wars lore you enjoy the most.
Right.
If you like Jedi, you're never going to like Andor.
Right.
If you like clone stuff, maybe the Jedi stuff's not for you. That's the good thing and bad thing about Star Wars.
Okay.
You're getting stories from each and every walk of life of Star Wars now, but you, as a person who had their own idea of what Star Wars is, that's crystallized now. So if they say, let me take you back to when Yoda was younger, that used to be mysterious.
Right.
Now, well, Acolyte spoilers, I guess. Now we're in this time period where you can see a younger Yoda, and you can start to see some of the things that he's doing that don't line up with what your imagination of what Yoda should be is. And I think it's a lot of that.
Okay.
So, well, we're talking about Acolyte. How spoilery do you want me to get?
It doesn't matter. It's over. Thank God, from what I hear. So.
Acting like
And I don't even watch the show, and also something about young Yoda. So I
Right,
and I don't
right.
even watch. I didn't watch
Darth
it at all,
Plagueis, I heard that was a
Yeah.
desperate move at the end that wasn't even part of the
So.
original.
Who was Darth Plagueis?
He was, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I
it's
can't
on
guarantee I'm going to watch it or when I'm going to watch it,
Yeah.
so I'll probably forget whatever we talk about.
So Eddie and I have been talking about this. In the original trilogy...
You and the other two fans of Acolyte?
Eddie and Eddie Beard. Eddie and Eddie Beard.
and my eldest son, Christian.
See?
That's the other two fans.
Yeah, we've been talking about this idea. They touch on it a little bit in those first 3 movies.
Okay.
It's the 70s stuff.
Uh-huh.
The Jedi fell out of power for a reason.
Right.
George Lucas, to try to expound on that, did the stuff in the 2000s. That's the point of Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones,
Right.
and Revenge of the Sith. To show you, kind of, this is what happens, and this is the way that the good guys fail.
Right.
It doesn't quite come through. So, fast forward all of this time to where we are now. They do something like High Republic, and the idea is, people don't understand that I'm trying to tell you, there was a reason why the Jedi lost. They outwardly, and if you look at it at the surface level, it seems that they're the good guys. But then as you start to peel back the onion, so to speak, you start to, well, why are they taking these kids at birth from their families? Are kids allowed to not say that they want to be Jedi? And it's not executed the way I would like it to be, but Acolytes is a story that touches on that. The Jedi aren't all good.
Right.
And there's a reason why people who are outside of that group view them a certain way.
There's still politics.
It's still politics.
Space politics.
It's the whole story with the church and the Templar Knights back in the day.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church
Got way
They
too
like the
big,
Catholic
got
Church,
way
yeah.
too powerful, military arm
Absolutely.
of them, and then it was just like, nope, and excommunicated. And then Catholic Church has evolved into what it is now, but the Templar Knights were wiped out.
Yeah.
So that's all it is a retelling of that.
But it's just how it's being delivered. It's just not being done well.
That's my problem.
The basis is good.
Again,
you know,
I'm not
so
a
it's good.
fan.
Yeah.
So I could literally take it or leave it. Like I said, I remember with some fair affection the first 3 movies.
Yeah.
But the last one I saw is when I took him to go see Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
You know, when he was a little guy. And seriously, because I want to see the dude with the horns and the red face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. right?
Megan was good.
You know what I mean?
They did a good job with
Yeah.
the effects on him,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, when I think Star Wars, I think pre-George Lucas and then post-George
Post-George
Lucas.
Uh-huh.
So you got George Lucas for the purists. Disney has it for the normies. I think that's the issue.
I like that.
Yeah, so
I
they're
think
making...
calling any fan of Disney right now normies is strange.
Well, I mean normie...
Because these are the most reactive fans.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean normie for those that are not versed in the lore. They don't care about Darth
Outside the
Plagueis.
lore.
okay, they just show up. They just show up for the
They're
show.
like, oh, he
Who's
must be
that?
the...
Let me
you know,
Wikipedia. Who
I was
is
gonna
that?
say, yeah, because we all know, we all have that one friend or family member that is one of those Disney fans
Yeah.
that is everything
Everything
Disney.
Disney.
And that is obsession, and we should know. We're comic nerds.
And
Yeah.
I think
There's a
the
level.
issue is you have way more normies than
Yeah.
you do purists. Which
Facts.
is why,
Facts.
I go with the original trilogy. I can watch the first
Mhm.
3, but those Ray saga versions, I'm like,
Oh my
you
God.
didn't make this for me. Clearly
Yeah.
you didn't. So you made it for another
Right.
bigger audience.
Yeah.
Well, Liam said it in Liam Neeson. He said it in an interview too after you know the
Obi-Wan
thing-
Kenobi.
Yeah, his cameo with Obi-Wan was that he feels like with all them doing all these spin-offs and other shows and other movies and everything like that, is that they are taking the mystery out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what Yoda did to be, you know, Yoda and how
Right.
significant he
Right.
was with the
Yeah.
Jedi with the Jedi culture.
Mhm.
You don't have any of the backstory. We don't know where the Metachlorians first came from.
They were
So-
divisive about that, from what I hear. The fans when they introduced the midichlorians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
That
know,
was the
so-
big.
so, yeah, that was very
That was the
divisive,
big
right?
thing
Yeah.
that irritated your generation of fans.
So,
for
so my,
sure.
my question is, because I am not largely a purist in many things outside of my faith,
Mhm.
right? But I don't even hate revealing the mystery. My thing is, do it well. Make it momentous, right?
Yeah.
Make it like this thing that you waited for forever, like that one chick you just was waiting for to give you the time of day. You know what I mean? You know, make it that. You understand what I'm saying?
It's-
Make it that. It's so poorly done. That's my problem
But you're-
as someone who's
but-
not a fan.
But you're
right.
you're skilled and based and knowledge in storytelling.
Right.
Your average consumer
Isn't. Right.
They you know, I mean, and
But if I'm a normie, this is how you get me. Good story is universal.
it's
Like-
how
like-
it's how I get you to keep coming back. It's not how I
Right.
get you to buy the first
Exactly,
one.
but it's how you get me hooked. You see what I'm saying? You initially hook me with the optics. It's always the eyes first, right? The eyes are always the hook, but you keep me with a solid, well-crafted storyline
Okay,
and
now
plot.
when they give you Andor, you complain. Not you. but
Right. I didn't watch Andor,
Okay.
but I heard it was good. I heard it was
did
well
hear
done.
Andor, of all
I
the
heard-
series
I
I
heard
have
all
heard,
the-
Andor's
Andor
got,
was the
like,
best one.
best story.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I want to
I
know
heard
how,
Andor,
all,
yeah.
how the Rebel came to be. I
How
enjoy
much weight
political
your opinion
intrigue
carries,
and
you
all
like
the
Andor.
background, Game of Thrones type of
Game of
stuff.
Thrones,
I'm
yeah.
into that
Right,
stuff.
right.
I don't need to see blasters and lightsabers
Right.
every 5
Give me a
minutes.
good story.
And I think the average person is, I want to see.
We want flat.
Right.
We want
Right.
explosions. We want flashy
Yes.
things. We
Right.
want cool tech.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it's,
sure.
you
If I
know.
don't see an X-wing,
Right.
I'm okay. I'll be okay. I'll be
No,
okay.
no. Show me the toys. All right, I want all the stuffs,
Fact.
all the things.
That's interesting. Before we go any further, since we're all Illinoisans, I would feel remiss if I didn't bring this topic to the table, because as a retired cop of 27 years, and the fact that this is happening in our state, and again, for you all don't know, we talk about everything at the comic shop. Nothing's off limits. We do religion, we do politics, we do it all because it's in the stories, and we do real life.
Most
So-
of our stories are pulled. Most of the stories
Exactly.
in here are pulled from. it.
So with that being said, the recent tragedy of Sonya Massey. My wife tried to get me to watch it Sonya Massey. My wife tried to get me to watch the video last night, the body cam footage. I hadn't heard of it because I've had my head down. I don't really watch the news
Yeah.
by and large, right?
Yeah, this is the first one I'm hearing of it.
Like I said, after such a robust law enforcement career in one of the most violent cities in the country, I don't like exposing myself unnecessarily. And that, take it how you think it, but I've seen enough for several lifetimes. So she's like, hey, babe, I want you to watch this. I'm like, nope, not tonight. Went to bed, but I woke up this morning and I looked at it. Broke my heart. Literally broke my heart. So if you're unfamiliar, Springfield, Illinois, right? And we have connections with Springfield.
School there.
Yeah, he went to school there and played basketball down there. There's a call that goes out for a suspicious person, right? It's what we call a suspicious person. Police arrive. Officer Sean Grayson was the guilty party, and him and his partner. They arrive on the scene. They're met They knock on the door several times. The whole body cam footage is on. It's on YouTube. It's it's FOIA'd. So Freedom of Information Act. Long story short, they don't find anybody there.
She's the one who called.
She's the one who called. Right, she called.
I think I just
Sonya Massey in Springfield, Illinois. She calls. She answers the door. She's in her nightgown, in her evening, little itty old 5'6" thing, maybe 130 pounds, maybe. Officer Sean Grayson, 6'3", 230. Right?
big boy.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude. And I'm not gonna even give you my commentary. I might do that on Solo Says. I want us to talk about it before we go into more geek stuff. Long story short, she has mental illness. You could tell. If anybody's been a cop for longer than 15 minutes, could tell just by how she answered the door. They come in because they ask for her ID. Don't know why.
First thing she says, "Oh, please don't hurt me," and they say, "Well, why?" The cop that wasn't involved in the shooting was like,
The one who actually had his camera on.
had his camera on, because the other one did not. The one who committed the shooting. He's like, "We're not here to hurt you. Like,
Right.
you called us. We're here to help you."
Right.
So that's how. It
And now, mind you, I got to preface
so
it by
you could tell
saying
something was wrong.
I've had
like,
this
she wasn't
call
all the way there a little bit.
in my career. It is so common, especially among single women. Right? Mostly when there's a man in the house, they're not calling for a suspicious person. We go out and we look. We got our piece. We like, where you at? Somebody out there, come out. Most women call. Very common, run-of-the-mill suspicious person call. Long story short, they're sitting down talking to her. All this plays out. He mentions a pot on the stove that's boiling, water. She goes to turn it off.
He asked her to go.
He tells her to go turn it off. And she goes to turn it off. And he says some things that were out of pocket to me. She takes the water, she puts it in the sink, and she responds to him, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Right? So obviously he has religious inclinations like myself. And he takes some umbrage with that for some reason. He pulls out his gun, points it at her, right?
Is she on footage?
All of it.
You can actually see her.
She
She
drops
doesn't
it.
have a gun, or
She has
nothing.
nothing.
Mitts in her hands.
She has
Okay.
mitts in her hands
From
to grab
grabbing the pot.
off the
She
stove.
puts it in the sink.
She puts it in the sink. As soon as he pulls the gun, she puts her hands up and she ducks.
She says, "I'm
She says,
sorry."
I'm sorry. As soon as she stands up, he shoots her.
And tells her before that, "I will shoot you."
He said, I will shoot you in the effing face. Right? And then he does it when she stands up. She's unarmed. The whole 9 yards. This is what's happened in Illinois this past week. We're in Illinois, in case you guys don't know, right? We're in Illinois. Any thoughts? Any feedback, Sly? I'm sure you're going to mention it on your channel.
Honestly, I was not going to.
You're not going to touch it? That seems right up your alley, bro.
You know what? It's conditioned us to watch snuff films. Because that's back in the day.
Yeah.
You had to look far and wide for a snuff film. Is it real? Is it real?
Right.
I grew up on Faces of Death.
Right.
My dad used to make me watch that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Why you making me watch
Right.
this?
Yeah, he doesn't know what that is. That's the first time.
As one that has swam in the deepest, darkest parts of the internet.
Me too. Like I have too. Like I'm the one that's like Twitter looking for the.
Yeah, don't watch
You have a pure algorithm, but I need you not to corrupt that, because, bro. No, that is not some. That is.
Now we look forward to watching this type of footage. It's heartbreaking.
It hurt. It hurt.
If you're a religious person, then yeah, there's a power in the name of Jesus. Obviously, it stirred his spirit.
It triggered something.
Yeah, and he gunned her down. I guess they cut mental health services here in the States.
Oh, they all
drastically.
closed up, man.
So,
Tinley
yeah.
Park
Well,
and
right
Oak
down the street.
Oak Forest.
Closed down.
I know because I used to drop people off in those when I was on CPD, man.
They were fighting to close Shapiro down in Kankakee for a few years. They were fighting that off. They
Really?
really wanted to close down Shapiro and like, where are you going to move these people to?
Yeah.
Um,
That was during Bush's time when he started
Yeah.
closing those down, didn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't call the cops if it's mental illness. They're not equipped for that type of stuff.
Well, here's the thing. As somebody, again,
Yeah, but what are you going to do? You have a crazy.
here's the thing.
agree.
We're not clinically trained, but what we are trained to do is to quickly assess. You understand what we're dealing with, and like what I told my wife this morning, because she's trying to get me to go into law enforcement consultation because of my experience. literally, when I'm not being facetious when I say any cop with longer than a year, that means you just got off probation. You immediately, as soon as I watched it, and this is not Monday morning quarterbacking, when I'm watching it, I'm back in police mode, right? She answers the door. As soon as she opens her mouth, something's wrong with her. Now, I don't know what it is. Now, if I'm on the scene, it could be mental illness, it could be inebriation, right? Or it could be she may have been asleep, but something's wrong. Yeah. 90 seconds in, you kind of know what it is at that point. They're still outside. You understand?
Why did they even enter the premises?
Well,
is my question.
From what I've ascertained is he asked for her ID. And this is what I told my wife. He didn't need her ID.
No.
For what?
Because how we typically handle those calls is, especially here in Chicago, so we get so many. We get the call. We get out. We scan the area first. We don't even knock on the door first. They did that right? We want to make sure that if there's somebody there, we catch them before they leave. And then we'll make contact with the complainant, right? But by the time they gave the all clear, that everything was clear, they go to the door. At that point, all I'm doing is, you live here? Yes, I do. What's your name, man? Boom. Thank you. Have a good night. I code it out. I leave. You dig what I'm saying? Because there's nothing suspicious. I don't need to go search anything. No. I don't need to see your ID to verify who you are. I don't need it. Can you get it? Yes. But it's not necessary because of the nature of the call. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? The nature of the call
person,
doesn't require that. Okay? It's a suspicious person. There are no suspicious people. Yeah. The woman comes in, yes, I called, blah, blah, blah. They can verify dispatch who called. You understand? They have it recorded.
They ask your name.
Right. So all I do is ask your name. Man, what's your name? My name is Sonya Massey. All right, squad. Did I make contact with the owner, Sonya Massey? It's all clear, boom, boom. We're back rolling. Click. That's it. That's it. That's how that call should have went. You understand? No need to further investigate. None of that.
You nailed it. That's a snuff film. That's pure and simple. And I don't think this wasn't clinical. This wasn't tactical. Mm-hmm. This was a character problem. Yeah. That guy.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
This is all.
It was a character problem.
Yeah. My first question is why the hell isn't his cam footage on?
Well, there's that. My wife asked me that. She said, "Why wasn't his camera on?" So, as somebody who came through both eras. I was 90s police, so there were no cameras there. It was not a thing. Phones didn't even have video, right? Then we're talking about the Motorola Razr. That's when I came on. Right? you dig what I'm saying? Right? So it wasn't a thing. When cameras came in, you got to center. The body cams are maybe 15 years old, right? As far as official law enforcement use. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter.
But generations of careers have started and ended in that. So
the point I'm making is this. This is what I told my wife. With that being said, when we were commanded to use cameras, right? Older guys like me would forget because it wasn't our default, right? We got trained post several years of career, so we're just used to getting out and engaging. You understand what I'm saying? When they first came in. Initially, they wanted the camera on all the time, right? That was mandatory. But then we said, wait a second, I got to use the bathroom. I'm having conversations with my partner. Doesn't need to be recorded. Yeah. We don't need Big Brother watching everything. So then they said, whenever you have contact with the public, it needs to be on, or you're about to handle a job, it needs to be on, or you have somebody in your car in the backseat, it needs to be on, right? And it's every bit as much to protect you as it is them, right? Because I've had many false claims against me. They were all exonerated from people who says, "Oh, he did this. He didn't." Like, no, I didn't. You understand? So it protects the officer as well. Well, his generation, they grew up with the camera. You follow me? So they have the habit of on off, and that was my problem because if you have a suspicious person and you are already trained with that habit. And let's be clear, this guy has been in 6 departments in 4 years.
He's a problem child, it sounds like.
And just had 2 DUIs.
Two DUIs. 6 departments in 4 years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You understand?
Unless you're moving up.
Yeah.
What happens
if they're all lateral positions? Yeah.
Well, what happens is this. Usually, if I'm the sheriff or whoever's in charge of HR hiring in that department, that's a huge red flag, number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, it needs to be said, departments are starving for bodies. They just want somebody with a pulse now. back when I became a cop, literally,
For problems.
when I became a cop, when I took the test at the old McCormick place, okay, that's how far back when the old McCormick place was in use, right? The black building, right? Okay. They had to by law advertise the police exam, police fire. They had to publicly make it known that the test, we're conducting a test. But because of the turnout, they would put it like this big in the Sunday Sun-Times or the Tribune, that big, and it'd be like right next to obituaries. On this date, we'd be tested. They didn't want to, like, good luck if you see it, right? My mom saw it, and I was still in the service. So I came up from Fort Knox, Kentucky, just to take the test because I was getting out in a year and a half. She's like, it's going to take 2 years to get hired. You might want to go and take it now. So at least you have this in the pipeline when you get home, right? The weekend I show up, they released the numbers. 14,000 people showed up just to take that test that weekend. On Saturday and Sunday, 14,000. Just for the Chicago police. Now, if they have 2,000 show up, and they got billboards now. They do commercials because they can't give the job away.
It's hard to be a cop now.
You can't give the job away. You won't go on the Dan Ryan, join Be Blue. Like what is this?
Yeah, but because of shit, pardon me, stuff like this, it's you cannot do anything correct anymore.
No,
Because
it's
any
Hollywood.
vision of force, even if it's not excessive and it's actual reasonable force.
This is true, but this is why
You're
when I was a
improving.
training officer, I would tell young new officers because I grew up in a different era. They very much grew up with the fear of losing their job.
Yeah.
That became a real thing, but that was post my
See,
generation.
me, I grew up with the fear
Right.
of if a cop grabs me and my shoulder's getting dislocated.
Well, see,
like don't screw
But
with
I'm
me.
talking about as a cop, you grew up with the fear of losing. You came in when I came in, it was a fear of losing your life, right? They trained us for the street. They're like, don't fear the back office, bro.
Well,
you just had- you
were a
handled
cop
that
in the 90s, right?
in the 90s.
So it was like right after crack.
No, it's when crack hit the street. That's when I came on. I came on in '94. No, crack came in '93. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
came on in '94.
You grew up,
Right.
You came in,
And so it was just a different mindset, right? They were teaching you to survive the Wild West. You dig what I'm saying? But also you got cops that came up from these neighborhoods. So we knew how to navigate because you had to have a high school. All you needed was a high school diploma. Now you raise it to college. Now you got kids coming from out of state, from the burbs. They ain't never been to Chicago and they're terrified.
Chicago.
Seriously, they're terrified.
Videos in the news.
That's all they see. So you got a different type of cop.
none of that's positive.
Right.
Like either.
And then you
So you're, I'm sorry, Solo, because
No, he's fine.
I'm not familiar with him. So you're a podcaster as well? Or?
Yeah, he's got a great channel on YouTube. So anyway, when you say it's a character problem, you are really, it's a character and a training problem now, right? Because you have officers that are largely disconnected from the communities they serve, right? Largely disconnected, unfamiliar with how to navigate, the terrain. And they're so desperate for bodies, right? This guy comes, he's hopping from now, when a cop hops from department to department in such a short period of time, you're talking about 4 years, 6 departments, he's staying on average 9 months. If that, at every department. In 4 years, he's got max 9 months seniority in any department he's in on average. Typically, if I see that, this is an officer that is resigning one department prior to disciplinary action for some type of unsavory behavior before he gets fired. Because when you get fired, you lose your certification, you lose all of it, you can't be the police. You get fired as a cop, good luck getting a job anywhere. So what a lot of cops will do is when they know that the paperwork is being processed, because it takes a while to get a cop fired. Let's be clear. It's a process. You dig them up investigations, boards, the whole nine. Ain't no just come in and turn your badge like you see on TV. No, it's not that. Because the unions are involved. Right? You get the heads up, you may be able to dodge that bullet for a year to 2 years before they actually can pull the hatchet down on you. So what am I doing? I'm looking for other departments. And because I already have the certification, which is good in the state, they ain't got to train me. They don't have to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 at police academy. It's literally, okay, turn in your badge here, you clear the background check, you can start next week.
Put you with somebody else.
And he puts you with somebody. You see what I'm saying? So this is what happened in the past few days here in Illinois.
It happened July 6th. It happened 2 days after the 4th.
Yep, 2 days after my birthday. Yeah. So, but it's everywhere. It's an epidemic. And I was talking to your sister, and I still believe this. So you make sure you guys get all this when you take clips. In my 27 years of law enforcement, I can honestly say, without any hesitation, 95% of the cops that I worked with were good cops. And I say that without black, white, Hispanic, Asian, good dudes. We knew who the other 5% was. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? And it wasn't if they was going to screw the pooch, it was when. Yeah. Right? And those dudes, we internally, people think about this. No, they were blackballed internally. We don't want to be there when it hits you. You dig what I'm saying? Nope, put him on in that beat across town. You dig what I'm saying? Put those two, they both rotten, put them together. You see what I'm saying?
Everybody, what the general public forgets, though, is every organization, it doesn't matter who it is. Does not matter who it is.
Has the bad seed.
A few bad apples ruin the
bad people.
It happens. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
You've got people that act like this in the movie industry. You
Yeah.
got people like this
In the music
comic
industry.
in
Yeah.
the music industry.
Yeah.
In police,
But does everybody know who they are?
Yeah.
We all know who they are. When you're in it, you know who they are. In the comics book industry, we know who the pricks, the jerks, and we know who they are.
Artists,
You know what I'm saying? It's not a big secret. The problem is when so few people have
everybody gets painted with that brush, though.
everybody, and I think that's largely because of social media.
It's because it's not even largely; it's entirely because of social media.
Because they can highlight the few bad apples, and it travels at lightning speed.
and they put on the good ones.
Yeah, like I was telling, you know how Kennedy is when we talking. Let's be clear. I didn't like the police. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, man. Okay, in the hood. All right, my family was in the game, literally. Police were the straight up ops. You could have never told me that I was going to end up being a cop, let alone a good one. you understand? So I get it. I've been handcuffed for no reason. I've been stopped here in Tinley Park for no reason. Entire wedding party stopped for no reason because we was black in Tinley Park. See, I kid you not.
It happens. Like
when I tell you
to deny this stuff like
dude,
that happens is
when I tell you I get
stupid.
it, I get it. But when I can say after being in it, right? The majority of them were good dudes, and the good that they did doesn't get highlighted. Like when I told Kenny, I said, what doesn't get highlighted is me and my partner Mike, Uncle Mike. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, mom on the corner with her 2 kids, just getting off at McDonald's. Got to take 2 more buses across town, and she's in a rough neighborhood. And we say, put the stroller in the back, we'll get a car seat, we take you home. You see, you dig what I'm saying? Yeah. We call it in, so they know we got a female with us, and we call it in when we get there. We so we can time it, so there's no shenanigans. You dig what I'm saying? That doesn't get picked up. Or the grandma who says, hey, Officer Perry, my grandson is on the brink. He's been getting kicked out of school. Do you mind talking to him? When I get off the next morning, right? Mind you, I work nights. I get off the next morning. I'm a civilian. I'm knocking on her door so I can talk to her grandson. It wasn't just me, though. And this is in Chicago. You follow me?
I had the same thing with mom arranging it with the security guard where she works, because the security there are police officers. Yeah. Because it's a city building.
Right.
Off duty.
Yeah. When I was going through my juvenile, stealing everything I can get my hands on. Yeah, absolutely.
But you never hear those stories, and it's sad that they don't get highlighted. Granted, the bad ones need to be highlighted. Sure. I won't say that, but
that's all we see, though. And it's
oversaturation.
It really is.
You dig what I'm saying?
To the point where nobody trusts any police. Yeah. I mean, you and me, we came up when social media first started getting big, all right? But, MySpace, like Facebook, was a real bad one when you could start scrolling.
Right.
And I had, at one point, had my algorithm where every other video was cops shooting dogs. Yeah. Like, that's...
Wow.
Now I hate police.
Right.
Like, I've got... Right. Because that dog, you have a job to do as a police officer. I understand that. That dog has a job to do too. You in that dog's house, and then somebody broke into my cousin's house. Mm-hmm. The dogs chased him off. Mm-hmm. Cop had to come and had to investigate the situation. Cop stuck his head in the door. dog went at him because now there's somebody in my house. He shot my cousin's dog.
Yeah, I get it. I would have shot him too, but it just
we understand.
But
We
you know,
understand.
but I get what you're saying.
What I don't
You're
like,
right.
what
I
I
get
don't
it.
like,
Right.
but I understand why.
Right.
What I don't like though is the officer that does the shooting of it leaves the scene before the owner gets home because there will be an altercation guaranteed.
Yeah.
But no, you need to come and tell me. Like if there's a shot in the mouth coming to you, you need to take it, even as like just man to man.
What
be honest.
were you gonna say, Jordan?
So you know it's bad. My son is 6,
Yeah.
and whenever he sees the police, he goes, "Daddy, watch out! The police is right there."
Yeah.
Not.
And-
do you think he knows Grandpa?
Exactly.
And
No.
that's where it should be. It
Yep,
should be. Do
and
you think
I
that
don't
he
have-
worked with Grandpa?
I mean, he hasn't seen
Or Papa,
any
whatever
you call it.
altercation
Cheepaw.
between me and the police or anything like
Yeah.
that. But he just knows that, okay, my daddy is black. He's mixed 'cause my wife's Asian, so he's half Filipino, half black. And then that's when he sees police. He, at 6 years old, already equates that to, oh, those are the bad
To
guys.
danger.
And they're going to do something
Yeah.
to my dad.
Yeah.
That's the power of social engineering.
It is.
know?
That's social media.
Sly, let me tell you something.
You know?
I used to get stopped. I'm on duty, and say I'm at Walgreens getting a snack or Walmart getting something for lunch, right? And I'm in uniform and walking. I can't tell you how many times I saw this, and it's mostly our people, which bothers me.
Yeah.
The mom would say, and she thinks it's being cute and curt. She's like, "See, if you be bad, see, the police gonna get you." And I would say, "Man, please don't do that. Don't do that." I would tell the mom, "It's like, don't do that." I said, "I'm here to help him, right? I don't want him to grow up thinking that I'm his enemy. You know what I mean? I'm here to help him." And she's like, "Oh," and I would check moms on that. When I tell you, if I had $1 for every time a mom, particularly one of our moms, do that, but I get it. But it's social engineering. You know what I mean? Like, wait a second. I know the history of the police better than anybody. I'm big into Black history. I get it, but we are necessary, regardless of the origin. We're necessary because if
Good or
people,
evil is always necessary.
if people could police themselves,
It'd be
with no
horrible. It'd be
need.
chaos.
So, what are your thoughts on the qualified immunity?
Well, first, talk a bit about what qualified immunity is for the dummies like me.
Oh no, hey, I just, my understanding is basically, no, I don't mess it up. I go to the expert.
It's qualified immunity. You're talking about as far as officers being exempt from certain actions.
Yes.
One of the biggest things that there has to be some type of exemption because of the nature of what we do, right?
And the level that it gets done at.
And the level it gets done at. One of the things that was never lost on me personally was the profound power that I had. People downplay it. I used to tell Jordan, the reason I was such a good cop was not because I was not always a cop. We'll talk about that later. But but because when I became one, I mastered the law and the code. I knew everything that I could and could not do. You dig what I'm saying? I knew everything a superior could or could not tell me to do, what they could and could not order me, right? And it drove some of my superiors nuts because they knew, Perry, no, don't come to him with that heat. He's gonna hit you with the book if it's out of
I don't
pocket.
have to do that.
Huh?
I don't have to do that.
Right.
You're not my supervisor.
That's an unlawful order, sir. Or this is my case. You're going to take it over. If you want, I'll relinquish the paper officially to you, and you can take it over. That would. You know what, Perry? Second thought.
Once you introduce paperwork to any manager, no matter what business or company.
So let me preface it by saying this: when you understand, number one, human nature, right? When I tell you I had so many bogus, in Chicago they're called CR codes, so many CR numbers against me that were completely bogus because people had an axe to grind with the police, not because I did anything wrong.
No.
They just didn't like that I did the job. You dig what I'm saying? Well, he blah 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 blah. I'm like, and then there'll be witnesses. But I've been put on bad paper. We call it bad paper. I've been put on bad paper simply because when they pulled the report, I was a support officer in the scene. There were 13 of us. I wasn't even the one handling the darn thing. You dig what I'm saying? Yet I'm included in the complaint. I'm like, wait, hold up. I was back on the perimeter, directing traffic. What do you mean? It's that kind of stuff. So with that being said, there has to be some type of reasonable, and that is the pervasive barometer in law enforcement. Reasonable people with the consensus consider this reasonable. We hear that in law. If you're ever watching court TV, beyond a reasonable doubt, right? You dig what I'm saying? And law is largely predicated on reasonability, right? And so even with that being said, there has to be a reasonable amount of exemption for some of the things that we do, right? Cops that are good at, those of us that are really good at what we do, we know how to navigate that. You dig what I'm saying? Without ill intent, right? That's another factor, is intent. Like if we talk about Sean Grayson with Sonya Massey, prior to the actual tragedy, his intent was communicated. He came in, I'm like, wait a second, this ain't that kind of call, bro. You know, why are you coming in like that? This is a suspicious
Is he a
person.
younger officer or older officer?
36.
Yeah.
36. Okay, so
Right.
he is of the
I'm like,
generation
this
that's
is a
had body cams since day one.
Yep.
Let me
no excuse for it.
quantify for those of you who may not know. We're going to move on in a little bit. But did I answer your question? There has to be a certain level because of the nature of what
They
we do.
show that in movies
Right.
too, though. Like the undercover cop, you know,
Right.
they put down a pile of coke, and if anybody doesn't take
If
a
it's
bump,
gonna
it's a cop.
if it's gonna break me.
So yeah, there's
Right.
got to be some kind of immunity, and I just know that from
And if somebody,
that
I've done undercover work like
Yeah.
that. He knows that. I've done embedded work. I've
Yeah.
done that because when I came out, I was so young, I could pass, right? And so, this guy came in with such bad intent, right? That was made evident by all the communication prior to that. To put into context how low bar this call is. Calls, my daughter asked me, well, why don't y'all, because some friend of hers, somebody got killed, right? And they called the police several times, but the police didn't show up. I said, well, number one, you got to understand, calls are prioritized. So based on the information that was given, the dispatcher is going to put it in a hierarchy of importance, right? Domestics, armed, aggravated events, they get highest priority, right? Because domestics, OJ, the whole 9 yards, OJ changed all that. Domestics skyrocketed to number
more often
one.
than not, all that stuff
Right.
results in
Right.
a hospital visitor death.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? But when you come down to a suspicious person, that is down near the bottom. You dig what I'm saying? It's literally down near the bottom.
You don't know if he's breaking in to kill
Or he's-
somebody or stealing their growth.
If he's there at all.
If they're there, if they're there, it could be a raccoon or a dog in the garbage.
Dude walking his dog. You didn't see the dog.
You see what I'm
He looks
saying?
suspicious, yeah.
So when you understand the lack of significance of this call, that's what makes it attractive. Because I understand.
Do they have
How
the
low bar.
911 call released, or is it just the body cam?
I'm sure they have it. It can all be FOIA'd. It can all be freedom of information secured. I mean,
So
so
when I go and look, because I'll look into this after we have this conversation.
Yeah.
I want to hear the 911 call because I want to hear if she was frantic.
no,
or crazy
she answered
or
the door in
anything.
her
I'm
nightgown.
talking about on the phone.
Yeah. Even if
Before
she
the police
was,
got
it's
there.
still,
Yeah.
regardless of how she sounds, it's always about the nature of the call.
Yeah.
How's the call classified? It's a suspicious person. That is like there's 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C. This would probably be a 3B as far as order of
So
importance.
for all we know, is she's seen somebody in a hoodie in her neighborhood.
It could have been a shadow going across
it could
her
have
window.
been, it could have been anything, but it's not a high.
Just maybe in her bushes or something.
It's not a highly intense call.
Yeah, when it's footage like that, I don't want to get into the what could she have done differently, and I'm just like, there's nothing.
It doesn't sound.
No,
she could've done. Yeah.
You know, and once again, I haven't.
There was
seen
nothing
it,
she could have
so-
done.
Yeah,
Nothing she
that's
could
why-
have. She
Yeah,
put it in there.
it-
She's
it-
like, oh, I'm sorry, I went down.
Yeah.
The onus
down.
at that point was completely on the officer.
Right.
Why
Right.
is the other officer not assess
Well,
situations
here's
correctly?
the thing. The other, this is what I was explaining to my wife. I don't know this other officer. I don't even know his name, but there is.
He didn't fire a shot.
He didn't fire a shot, but he wanted to render aid, and the other officer discouraged him.
Yeah.
He said, "No, she gone. Like this dude's like, let me go get my CR. I'm not wasting my CR kit on her." This is what he's saying after he shot her,
After he shot her.
right? Because
Called her
believe it or
crazy
not,
bitch, all types of
after
stuff.
we
It's
do
crazy.
certain things, we are obligated legally to render aid. Obligated. It's not even optional. You see what I'm saying? It is for another department, usually paramedics or whatever, to declare a person deceased. I can't even do that.
Yeah.
That's not within my purview. You follow me? I can say suspected deceased or suspected I'm not getting a pulse. But I don't, we have to wait for an official department to declare that before it becomes official. Even if the person been dead for a minute.
Yeah,
I gotta call
you
somebody.
find
It's like,
them upside down. in
and
a
then I
dumpster.
have to record the time to the second when they declared it. Declared by paramedic such and such, 7:59 p.m. You see what I'm saying? That covers me, right? And so it was all of these things. but it was purely on this. This was just bad.
Yeah,
It was just
she put the
bad.
hands up and I was like,
She dug
And
down.
she ducked down like
You
this.
already
I'm
knew
sorry. She literally says, I'm sorry. She drops, I'm sorry.
when that happened.
And then as soon as she stands up, pop, pop, pow.
She was like 3 times.
From what I'm, and like I said, I haven't seen it, but it doesn't sound like even if I did see it, there's any type of justification for that.
Yeah,
action.
it's sad.
There's nothing she could have did.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing she could have done. And then the officer again, when you're dealing with a mental, then I've dealt with countless mental patients. Countless. They can be volatile. They can be unpredictable.
Very erratic.
But again, they are kind of exempt because of the nature of the perceived illness. You dig what I'm saying?
So maybe this is the time to have the conversation to have mental health professionals.
It'd be nice.
There was one
It would
city.
be nice.
There was one city that started that. I want to say it was in Cal.
But they'd have
I
to
might
ride
be
around with
completely
us.
off.
Yeah,
They've
they have to
got.
ride
can't do
around
that.
with
You
No,
see what I'm saying?
they actually they're
Yeah.
putting together a response team of these are unarmed people
For the
that
cause.
are
Yeah.
mental
But
health.
there was no.
Do you guys need to get over here and look into the back?
I just listened to your conversation.
Oh,
okay,
you can come on, join. This is
Yeah,
an
we
open
are- we are
conversation,
live
man.
on
This is
camera,
what we do.
though,
This is
so-
just if you're okay with being on camera. This is what we do.
Yeah.
It's a YouTube channel.
What's the new X-Men that just came out today? Is it Uncanny or?
NYX.
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 Okay.
Yeah, New York X-Men.
That's what I figured. So I figured NYX.
So that's
So-
this Marvel X-23 book.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going.
So anyway, when it comes to a person with a mental illness, again, we are not licensed professionals, but we are trained enough to observe. We are qualified witnesses and assessors at the lowest level. Something's wrong. That's how your cadence, your delivery of information, mannerisms, right? I can doubt it doesn't take a rocket science. Something's off here.
Yeah.
So at that point, the onus is on me to make proper distance. You dig what I'm saying? Case in point, I was down in Joliet one time, right? I'm a sergeant. Guy's mental on the train. They get him off at the train at Joliet Station. I come up, other officers there, but it's my call, right? This dude is fidgety. I could tell immediately, yeah, he's off his meds. What I don't know what it is, but he's off of them, right? Okay? Dude is calm though. But again, I know he's a mental.
Yep.
This is kind of just knowing what to do.
Small people.
He's sitting there, and he has three other officers next to him. And as soon as I walk up, something about me triggered him, right? But me knowing a mental and having a lot of experience with mentals, I stood just out of arm's reach, and I'm talking to him. The dude turns away, and then he looks, and he right at me, and all I did was this, and he missed. And the officers tackled him, the whole 9 yards, and they said, "Perry, how did you not get hit?" Because he was literally trying to take my head off. I said, because I saw he was a mental. I saw his reach. You dig what I'm saying? I knew how fast I could react if something went down. I saw that y'all didn't have him secured. You dig what I'm saying? So when I walked up, I made sure I just stayed right out of arm's reach. And this dude tried to take my head off. If he would have hit me, right? You say, well, that's aggravated battery against an officer. Not when the person's a mental. Because he can't be held responsible for his actions.
Okay.
He's a protected class. Not so it's all on me not to get hit.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying? So when you say what could she have done? Nothing.
That's for you to control the situation.
Nothing.
Even telling her to go turn off the stove. If you feel that your
No,
life is
you
in
walk
danger,
over and turn it off.
I got it. No, you.
You stay right here with him. I've done it.
I got it.
I've
Turn
done
it
it.
off.
You dig
Come
what I'm
right
saying?
back, you can sit there and just talk to her.
When I tell you I've done it, I've done it. I'm like, you know what?
But see, but then you get the case where some people, because I know it's how I would react. No, don't touch my stove, because I don't know if you're gonna go over there and drop something. Because once again,
I don't want you in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A trained officer is not letting you do what's in the
not
kitchen.
even a
Not.
cop. It's not even
You
a
see,
cop. It's civilian thing.
no.
I don't trust anybody in my house.
sure.
No,
Like,
well, my thing is
I didn't
this.
invite
That's
you.
what
Well, here's
I don't care
well,
who you
well,
for.
here's
That's what the body cams
but
do,
here's
stuff like that.
but here's the thing with
He didn't have on.
well, see,
The one who said that the stove had the body cam on.
the other one did have. That's how you got caught.
Oh,
That's how he got caught.
So
he was
here's the
and
thing
then
what most
and
people
when
don't
he
realize.
He stepped back.
And we're going to
She
move on
said-
to
she
more
said, "Why are you
amenable
stepping back?"
topics.
He's like, "Oh, you got hot water. Like I
Right.
don't want to get hurt." And
Yeah.
then she was like, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus."
That's it.
And
That's what she
that's
said.
all she said.
Right.
And he said, "What?" He said, "You better not. I'll shoot you in the after face."
That's he
literally
led
what
with
she
that.
said.
So this is the one with the body cam
This
footage?
is, no,
This is
no,
the one with the footage.
The one with the body cam stepped back, and she said, "Why you step back?" He's like, "Oh, I don't."
The
wanna get
partner
close
was
to hot
recording.
water."
His cam was on the entire time.
And it was-
He's not the one that
so
shot.
But he's not the one-
He's stepping back,
no.
so he's seeing all of this.
Right. He's the
Oh, so
backup.
he's stepping
So
up
in
here.
any situation, and this is becoming a law enforcement lesson. I'm sorry, y'all. there's the business officer, right? And then there's the support officer. It's a 2-man car. Even if it's 2 1-man cars, we establish that before we make contact. This your job? Now, at that point, you're...
Hey, little girls.
Hey, y'all. At that point, you're the business. Y'all can come back here.
Yeah, they might want to get to the.
You can come back here.
Yep. You want to get some?
You might get caught on a little camera or something, but, come get your stuff. There's a business officer, and then there's the support officer, right? The business officer does all the talking. That's who this guy was. Mm-hmm. He's the one engaging. My job is I'm backup. I'm I'm eyes.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? I'm eyes.
I get you.
Right? At that point.
Let's pause the conversation
Yeah.
here and let her through.
You want to come on? Come
Yeah,
on.
we'll wait. You
Yeah,
guys
you
go
can
ahead.
get
We'll
stuff.
continue the conversation after you guys take a look
just
at your stuff. It's fine.
Absolutely. Get your stuff.
Perfect opportunity to say.
No, we're good. We're good, David. I'm going to keep talking. We're good. And so, in those situations,
Yeah.
Yep.
in those
Sony cameras.
in those situations, that's handled before you get there.
Right.
Right? It's kind of understood, or if you're working together, it's established at the beginning of shift.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? You talking tonight? Yeah, I'm talking. Cool. If you're talking, that means I'm writing. You follow me? That means I'm doing the paperwork, right? And so, even in that situation, you mentioned like somebody coming into your home. What most people don't realize, the moment you call us, it's no longer your home. It's mine until I leave. I control that entire place. I don't care if that you're paying your mortgage, because you can hurt me in there. That's where most officers get hurt, in other people's homes. So the moment I enter in, if you called me, it ain't your house until I leave, until I release it back to you. Does that make sense? Right?
Other than the fact that I have to let you in the house.
The moment you do, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I get that money.
The moment you do, it's a wrap.
Also,
I get the
not
mindset.
doing that.
Right,
That's the thing.
right.
Like, no,
Exactly.
I
Right.
won't
The moment
open
you
my
do,
screen
she
door.
didn't have to
nothing.
let
She didn't have to let her. She was
Yeah.
the complainant,
She was the
right?
complainant.
But the moment they entered, they're in control of the environment at that point.
Which I get, because you
For
don't want
safety.
somebody
So I said,
popping
this
out
is
of a
my
closet
crime.
or
Right,
something.
which is why
I get that.
which is why he should have turned off the
He
stuff.
should have turned it off.
You dig what I'm saying? That right now, dude, this is your house. You go turn it off if it bars you.
Like,
You got
yeah,
your
he
support
go do it.
officer
He
right
steps out the way
there.
and let you go do it. I'm like, no, I got it. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. So, nah.
So anyway, on to comic book stuff.
Yeah, so you brought up bad paper earlier. We were talking about some book when you walked in the door.
Speaking of bad paper.
Bad paper.
Boom. This
one
is
is
what's burning up. This is burning people up.
What they do
Okay,
with
Phoenix number 1.
What's wrong with it?
Phoenix number 1 by
doesn't like Phoenix?
Phillips Morocco, Alessandro Morocco, and so it's been burning up the internet sphere.
Okay.
My man is ripping off artists, the artists of this book. He has several shot-for-shot redraws of Olivier Coipel.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are you saved? He traced. He traced, and I saw it this morning.
Cut in Chris Rock.
I got to show. I'm gonna show him. We're gonna show this in post. See if I can flip through some of these. Jordan has them on his phone. He pulled them up just because he wanted to see. He had to see, right? But they've already done side by side comparisons online.
No, there's no way. Bro,
Scroll
no.
down. Scroll down.
Just scroll down.
It just gets worse.
Marvel, seriously, editorial?
Awesome stuff, everything.
Are you kidding?
Oh no.
Are you kidding?
Background characters,
Shadow
everything.
line.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy work, man.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy work. Yeah.
You see it slide?
Yeah.
Is that-
Okay, okay, all right. Now,
Okay.
Solo,
Yes.
you're an artist, okay?
Yes. Some will call me so. Some would disagree, but we'll go with it for now.
All right, well, skill level aside, how many different poses and scenes can you actually draw out? I mean, this is...
But the
no. Hold, this is a little too close for comfort, okay? I will say this,
You
okay?
can change
But
something
here's the
around,
thing.
yeah.
If you're going to draw Superman posing, what are you doing?
yeah, for sure.
Every artist that has ever done Superman has done that.
Right.
If you do Batman, his knee is up in the
top.
Captain Morgan
Fact.
thing on a
Yeah.
gargoyle.
Fact.
Okay, there are iconic scenes, iconic poses.
sure.
Okay. Once again, too close for comfort.
Yeah.
I will agree.
Right.
All right. But how do we know that this wasn't the artist that he pulled from the most with his?
Well,
art,
here's the
or
thing.
that they pulled from.
Play
Play devil's advocate.
It's playing devil's advocate. I can't play devil's
I can
advocate. I can't
argue.
play devil's advocate without being disingenuous. So I'll go for honesty.
I will acknowledge
as-
it really
as-
looks like there was tracing
as-
paper over the previous
as an
scenes.
artist, we do pull from other artists. Is
Yeah,
what we
so
do,
time.
right? You know what I'm saying? You know, when I'm at my table and I'm cranking out a page, I'm referencing my favorite guys.
Yeah, same here.
What I'm doing though is I'm passing through the filter that is me. I'm not tracing them. You dig
But
what I'm
you've
saying?
honed your craft. I don't know
Well,
if this person has.
guy's
They
at
may not
Marvel.
have.
This guy's at Marvel. So I would say
Okay.
he should be about as
How
honed
many,
as
how
you need
many
to get.
covers for 6 months was AI
No,
covers
no,
that are at
no,
Marvel?
I get it, but when you're doing this at this level, I mean, because he can obviously draw,
Yeah, he can draw.
He can draw.
It's not that
Right?
he can't draw.
and so what I resort to is laziness, right, and obviously stupidity that nobody would catch
you
it.
think ain't
That's my
no
thing. You think nobody's
fans
gonna
gonna
catch
know,
it?
Especially
You know how many?
X-Men fans.
I'm a fan
I've
of
seen this
Olivier
before.
Coipel.
Like we all got the scenes in our head. Like
I have his stack of his books next to my recliner.
How
Him-
long ago? How long
him-
ago was the original work done?
that was House of
That's
M.
the House of M.
So we're
Oh,
talking.
God.
That's
2000
House of M. That
That's
he was
the
pulling
House of
from.
M he was
you
pulling from.
couldn't have done something
So
more
what's
than a
that?
decade
House of M
old.
was, what,
That was House of
2005,
M.
2004.
And when you consider,
like, right?
Yeah.
especially
2
when you're
decades,
tracing
excuse
an
me.
iconic artist,
Yeah.
you're talking about like I'm 30 years in the game, and I study this dude's work. Like I literally have a stack of Siege, House of M,
Yep.
Fear itself, with Stuart Eminem's Run or Spider-Man.
2005.
They're literally I have a short box.
2005.
Do I not have a short box
like
next to my
time
recliner in my
concepts in my
studio?
head.
Do I not
Yeah,
have
Olivia.
of my favorite artists? When I'm sitting there,
2005.
I'm just getting it in front of my eyes,
20 years
studying
ago.
their technique.
Like, I was 20 years ago.
You're ripping. You are stealing from the creme de la creme of artists. And you expect somebody not to notice.
So does this happen more often than not?
It's happening way more often than it should as of late. I will say that.
Do you think it might be? So also devil's advocate. You might like this argument. All right. Police force ain't the only ones needing bodies.
They're not shortage for bodies. I'm doing
As
this.
far as artists.
I'm doing this episode on Solo Says. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
As to what me and a friend of mine that I talk to often now, we were having this discussion on why the major players are pulling foreign artists. And I'm doing a whole Solo Says about that, how we are really cannibalizing ourselves as an industry. Okay, I call it the Ouroboros effect. It really is that snake eating its tail, right? And so what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing. What I'm
That's
seeing.
a pretty good reference. Yeah.
What I'm seeing is this way too often. And short. Did anybody see Marvel 616 when it was on Disney Plus? They took it off.
No.
Okay, there's an episode of Marvel. I can't remember this game. You all help me out in the chat, okay? Marvel 616. There's an Italian artist that they covered. He did Miles Morales. I cannot remember this dude's name, okay? But they made the mistake of showing him actually working. That was the mistake they made. Okay, they got it in the B-roll. Okay, this dude goes from being absolute crap to hired by Marvel in a year. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, right? What he does is he uses DAS 3D, which is a 3D modeling puppet program. Every figure in his books, I forget. Y'all help me out who this artist is. He was one of the featured artists. It wasn't too many featured artists in Marvel 616. It was like one. The other one was a cosplayer and different aspects of the comics industry.
Let's not pretend that we don't have supercomputers in our pocket.
Right.
100%.
But anyway,
Yeah, tell the story.
he does a complete 180 in his skill and his style in a year. You can draw all day, every day, 18 out of 24
Bring it in
hours
a
a day,
year, bro.
and that's not happening in a year. What happens is now he's tracing 3D assets. And Marvel brought him on. But you know why Marvel and them bring him on? It's because the conversion rate of the US dollar in Italy as compared to here.
Yeah.
Right? The conversion rate of the dollar in Argentina. The
Well,
conversion rate
there's
of the
a lot
dollar in
of-
Brazil. The conversion rate of the dollar in the Philippines. These are where all these artists are coming from.
There's a lot of
Okay.
apps right now that are
Where the
out.
$100 a page that has not been increased in 30 years here is now just abhorrent. That same $100 in the Philippines, oh man, they eating for a month, bro.
Yep.
He knows. My daughter-in-law's Filipino.
Yep. And I play basketball.
He play basketball down there. Okay, they eating for a month. It's the conversion rate.
Having $3,000 for real.
On a podcast that I love, you guys check him out. They don't know me from a can of paint. Ink Pulp with Sean, Alessandro Maselli, I believe, and Eric Canetti. Right? They have Ink Pulp podcast. I don't know if you've seen it. Industry artists. Maselli's from Italy. He's in Italy when they're streaming. One episode, he was going to tell how much he gets paid from Marvel. They blotted it out because they didn't want him to share his information. I wanted to know.
Yeah.
But he admitted later, it's like, oh, but the dollar here goes so much further in Italy because of the cost of living.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And so what I'm seeing now with Marvel and these guys is opting for production and saving money over real quality when it comes to their artists.
Massive cast lists and
Nothing
screams
it's
like,
crazy.
I'm an Italian,
I mean,
by the
he
way.
wasn't the first one.
So-
Say what you will, man. Come on, we all know about Greg Land
Yeah.
with
Greg
Cornface.
Land. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his favorite artist. I
used to love
I introduced
Greg
him to Greg Land one year, right?
I thought he was. I thought his work, but then
And he still gets work.
tracing over what models.
Porn models.
Porn models and
Yeah.
stuff?
Sports Illustrated when he
so
was with.
because
Art,
one of the
art always
things-
looks so real, like the faces. I'm like, why is it? look
Yeah.
like
So one of the
this?
things that I've
and he's been
noticed
working
too,
for decades.
Yeah.
especially with the the use of smart devices with
Mm-hmm.
artists with drawing and everything like that. Because I have an iPad Pro, so I draw on that.
Right. This is horrible.
It's
And the dude
it's the exact same as your. It's the same. It's the same, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You and me have had this discussion. You've got those figures,
Right.
The model figures, right?
Yep.
So there are apps for that where you got your 3D sprite. You can put them in the poses
Yep.
that you need
Clip Studio Paint.
to give you
Yep.
your outline.
Clip Studio-
And-
yep.
yeah.
But the rest should be you.
The rest of it should be,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the tracing of your 3D sprite or tracing of your, it's not uncommon for proportions and
No, it's not
outlines.
uncommon at all.
Absolutely
You know,
not.
we teach our students at Ka-Pow, use your tools.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't use your tools, right? We use photo reference. I just did an interview with Stephen E. Gordon from X-Men Evolution on Ka-Pow's channel. He talks about how that changed Transformers' life using reference, photo reference.
Okay.
We use it.
So what's the difference between what he's doing versus I watch Fire and Ice and they use rotoscoping to do? So what's the difference?
Well, rotoscoping is something different because you're paying those models, those people to act out those movements,
Yeah.
right? They're under contract, so those movements can be traced in animation.
You just taking.
This one, I'm just taking it. I'm
I'm
just
going on
taking it,
Google,
and I'm gonna.
I'm
All right, I'm gonna trace over this, and I'm put the Phoenix
Like,
on it.
like I said,
you know what I
look
mean?
at the comparison.
Piecing it together.
It looks like there was tracing paper involved.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a problem.
Yeah, man.
That is a problem.
So
yeah.
That is problematic.
Is it more?
It's the same thing with the AI thing.
So
It's like, it's
you're
not
you're
really-
you're a podcaster, right?
Yeah.
Me writing down my entire script, or your entire script, changing some of the words
Yeah.
so I don't get hit with a trademark,
Yes.
Right.
and then going to say you do one on downtown Chicago, okay, and you just walk through and talk about it, and I apply that entire script but change the name of restaurants and joints in downtown New York.
We're in agreement.
That's what it is, basically. To put it
That is-
put it in the podcaster's realm.
Yeah, it's
perspective.
bad. It's bad practice, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I've never traced another. Let me just take that back. I have traced other artists.
We all start out tracing.
We all start off tracing, and even to this day,
Dragon Ball Z.
I will trace. I will trace my favorite artist.
All you gotta do is
and I
leave
tell
a
my
hair
and I teach
off
my
and it's
students
every
to do
other
this.
character you need it to be.
I will trace it during my practice sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it puts me in that artist's mind. You dig what I'm saying? When I'm going, okay, this is why he made this decision with this line. This is why I'm learning. I'm stepping into their skin. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm not putting that out for public consumption. That's for me doing my own private practice.
Because
Does
you're
that make
figuring
sense?
out which, you're figuring out which, muscle line needs to go over another one.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
for whatever.
It's problem
There
solving
is a
stuff like
reason.
that,
for
yeah.
it.
It's a reason for
But
it.
isn't the technology providing people to do it?
AI.
that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
AI
so-
conversation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and that's the debate that's tearing up the art industry. Is it art by definition, regardless of what it is, art definitively means created by a human.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard.
So AI generated art right now.
It's
and
not
this
art.
is an article that I came across a few weeks ago. AI art, it was bad when it first came out. It got better, and
Right.
now it's starting to get bad again because you're snake eating its own tail. There's
Right.
so much AI art that what it's doing is when you type in, I need a guy swinging a sword. All right? It references other AI art of people swinging swords, and that art was goofy as hell.
Well,
So this art the new AI art, this newer generation AI art is so far inbred that it's garbage.
The problem is when
It's
it's
noticeably AI.
now. And here's the thing, and this might mess me up with some of my art buddies, because I did a whole thing, a panel on it on Ka-Pow's channel AI. I'm not anti-AI. I'm anti using it irresponsibly. So me being a one-man show, like this is my studio, Honor Studios Entertainment.
You don't take this
right?
moment to insert the Terminator.
I'm putting all of that.
It's
right.
a missed opportunity.
And so I'm using AI right now, right? Because I'm doing some concept design. What I'll do is I'll tell Midjourney, give me X, Y, Z in this style, and I just want to see the reference material that it's going to give me. But I'm not using that for public consumption. I'm using that as an idea creation machine, right? And then I go to and I start drawing. I say, ooh, I like that. Ooh, that doesn't work, but I'll take this. Just like I would if I was taking photos and photo bashing. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Point of view, the
Right.
light, source of light,
Absolutely.
the angle
It's
of
reference
it,
for me.
the pose.
It
But it's
sounds like
yeah.
you, the purist, creating for a small number of people.
Mhm.
They're not gonna that okay. He hand drawn.
Mhm.
Everyone, us normies, that looks good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
that's, I think that your industry will need to create certain standards and boundaries because, like with the music business, how they made deals with the AI companies because the
Music is really endangered by it.
They have
It's
no
really
choice.
endangered with the
exactly.
with the
So
voice.
they have no choice. But they might
yeah.
get in where they fit in. Make
Yeah.
agreements with them now and say, okay, because they learned their lesson with Napster. When they fought Napster tooth and nail,
Right.
and that went left. So it sounds like your industry would need to.
Well, they're making
there
moves
needs to be a
towards
level
it.
of acceptance
Yeah.
and appreciation. I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's fine.
cut you off, but appreciation for the hand drawn things.
I agree.
And it's I don't think it's there anymore. I really
Well,
don't.
actually, I
Not
gotta
with
push.
the newer-
No,
newer-
I gotta
newer
push back on that
generations.
because as of late, me and my cousin who was on my AI debate, at the time he was working for Meta, and he was actually training people on it, right?
Too.
Oh my gosh, he's masterful at it. We were going back and forth. I had artists and I had him from Meta representing people that are using AI and what the technology actually, what it means. And he was the one that got me into using it, but though using it in my private setting to help spur ideas no more than, ooh, I like that Moon Knight. Ooh, I like that piping on that uniform. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna use that for that character. So we've been doing it for decades. That's how we use it. But I'm not taking those images and presenting them as mine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Which is what was done in Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
Somebody
not
else's
presenting
image.
that as
I
mine.
think I'm a bad case because I grew up to heavy metal comics, Frank
Yeah.
Fertitta and all that.
Yeah.
I love that style of drawing and drawing. Kids half my age, it just looks good. Okay, I'm good.
You're right. But what I was
Like I
saying,
said, there's no
but
appreciation
what
for
I was,
the
what I,
work
what I
that
was
goes
saying
behind it.
is, I actually think that people, because I still watch it, and he's watching it too. He's actually working with a few entities that want to use it in animation, right? And he's trying to help them learn how to use it responsibly. Because it is going to change the landscape. It's not going anywhere. The genie's out of the bottle. Good luck with that. What we will have to do is what we've always done is adapt, right? And it will create different jobs. It will get rid of old jobs. It will create different jobs. Just like Adobe Animate back then when it was Flash, trimmed down the animation pipeline.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? It created different types of
You
jobs.
don't need 40 people drawing that
No.
toothpick wide
Right.
movement
Yeah.
in between
Exactly.
every frame. Yeah, because you can do it in the computer now.
Absolutely. And so that's why I don't fear it. Because one thing I believe by and large, us as humans, there will always be an appreciation and a desire for human accomplishment. That's kind of, it always gives us something to shoot for.
Yeah, but I think the audience of that's gonna shrink
AI
so much.
AI is like sugar to a crack fiend. It's a short high. It's not going to last long because when anybody can do it, does it any longer have any value?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, if
it
everybody's an
doesn't.
artist, nobody's an artist.
Right.
If everything's special, nothing's
Right.
special.
This is why we
Everybody-
celebrate our
if
athletes.
everybody's super,
They represent
no one will be.
what's possible as a human. This is why we celebrate the Olympics. This is why the Olympics
Such a good
exist.
movie, man.
You know what I mean?
Man, it was such
So-
a good movie.
So anyway, that's what I got for today, guys. Thanks for a great conversation. We are out of your lives. Check us out. Follow us everywhere. Like, follow, subscribe. All the Sly, close us out because he's the pro here.
No, I'm just happy to be here. The ambiance of this place is overwhelming me. It's taking me back to my childhood. So shout out to Jay and Solo. These guys here, they know their stuff, and I'm just happy to be here.
And where do they follow you at, man? Come check you out.
Supersly75 on YouTube. Stay. Don't follow me.
The man is a master. The man is a master. You know, great with interviews, great with conversation. He knows how to keep the ball rolling. And so thanks to Dave and Tommy.
Plug the store, man. Don't do
Plug
it
the
like
store.
that.
Listen, visit your local LCS. This is what happens here. We are at Tinley Park, Amazing Fantasy. Okay, this is my home store. These are the guys I rock with on a weekly basis, and this is what we do every time I come into the door. Do we not? It's the same thing, same length of time. But you can only get that by visiting. You can't get it by buying online. You can't get it by going to Amazon or reading. No, man, it's about the culture.
It's the connection.
It's about the culture. It's about the connection. It's about the conversation. It's about being able to disagree and not hate each other for it. Okay? This is what this is about at Comic Shop Talk. And so until next time, hey, keep it geek, and we'll see you later. Solo out. Peace.